All right, all right. Welcome to the Military Retirement Podcast.
Welcome
Streaming
back.
everywhere on
All the
Facebook,
places.
on YouTube, on the Green Logbook, on Military Retirement Podcast, on Military Retirement Podcast Facebook page, everywhere. So,
Everywhere.
John, good to see you again, bud. How's
Good to
life
see you
on your
too,
side
man.
of the world?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Trying to get through it. Taking extended weekends here and there. Trying to take a little bit more time off. I feel like I have a little bit more of a break and I can breathe a little bit so I can go back to work refreshed rather than feeling like 2 days is not enough.
Yeah, yeah. So, what do you usually do on your days off?
So usually there's one day where there's nothing going on. If I have a long weekend, long extended weekend. If it's just a regular Saturday and Sunday, of course, Sunday I'm here for 17 hours.
On the live stream?
on the live stream. Cook a lot of food, do some shopping, catch up on things. We've got a really weird schedule. I might have mentioned it before. Our dog had some medical stuff going on, so now she's on a 2 or 3 hour stint where every 2 or 3 hours we got to give her some medications, take her outside and do all the stuff. So there's not more than like two or 3 hours where we can take a break and take it together. So we try to embrace that, but we do a little shopping, do a little running around. Me and the wife went tooling around town yesterday for a couple hours. Yeah, got some good quality time in, sit on the couch a little bit, relax, read, catch up on podcast episodes on Spotify so I can get those up to date and get those pushed out, all the things.
Oh yeah, man. Awesome, dude. Awesome. Good weekend. Good weekend stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So today's episode is going to be all about the folks in the chat, the listeners. We want to hear your story. We're probably going to do like breakouts of 5 minutes each. And it's all about your military or vet stories. Could be something insane that happened, something cool, something crazy, something that you didn't expect after you left the uniform, or even while you were in uniform. So I'm very curious. Last time I did a live stream over on the Green Logbook, we had a gentleman, I think his name was Big Red. He came on and he just had a ton of stories to tell. And I'm like, hey, pump the brakes, man. Let's save some of this for Sunday because you got some good stuff. So anybody out there listening, if you want to share your story, let me know. Howdy, Oliver Rust, 8993. Howdy, gentlemen. Howdy back. Good to have you on here. Yeah, so if you here, actually let's share this live stream link. And if folks want to jump on there and talk about their stories, I mean, I'll be sharing a little bit of mine as well. And John, we can talk about your what you got going on, and even after the uniform, tell us a little bit about your OnlyFans and all that. And then we can kick it from there.
Only feet.
Only lonely fans. I call it lonely.
I'm gonna see if I can do this real quick. Link.
Share your. I'm putting the link up right now.
Yep, I'm gonna make a little QR code and throw it in the corner too, just in case. Why not? Why not?
All right, so 5 minutes each. 5 minutes each. That's it. Tell us your stories. Get it and go. Get it and go. Just like the chow hall line. Get it and go. Good stuff. Yeah. So I guess I'll kick it off with mine, man. Let me see. 22 area barracks, Camp Pendleton, circa 2000 and maybe 2005, 2006. Come back from the E Club. You know, we all had a great time. E Club, and had a friend of mine, a couple barracks rooms over, who may have been known to indulge a little bit too much in the the devil's sauce there, and he fell asleep in the shower, where his and he was something of a rotund young man, where he was always on the body composition program consistently, right? So, the body, he had a body on him. Fell asleep on the shower. And of course, you only have these walk-in showers, right? There's no tubs or anything like that in the barracks rooms. And his right loaf was covering the drain. So no water could get into the drain. And he fell asleep in the shower in that position, like sitting down, back against the wall, butt on the drain. And then you start seeing water come out from under the door. And then his roommate comes in, and we just hear, "What the hell?" Or words to that effect. And of course, there's water leaking everywhere. He's got the door locked, so we couldn't get in there. And we're trying to, it's a metal door. We're trying to pry it open or push it open or whatever because the water keeps seeping out. And we had to get the duty involved. The duty had to come upstairs. End of the story was they managed to open the door. The water just flowed out, ruined some shoes and stuff that they had in there. And I mean, we had to wake the dude up. He was completely in his birthday suit, just not knowing what the hell happened. Why is everybody around me? That type of thing. What's happening? That type of thing. So good times had by all at the enlisted barracks 22 area, Camp Pendleton.
Sounds like a crazy story.
Well, it gets better from there. I mean, I've got a few more, but to jump in and tell their side of the story. Their story.
I'd be happy to hear some of these. Good morning.
Yeah. Well, some of them I'm hesitant to share. I don't know if the statute of limitations has passed on some of them. So
yeah, that and it's hard to find PG stories, right? Sometimes
PG stories. Yeah. So that's one thing is we want to keep, anybody who wants to share the stories, we want to keep it PG. We want to keep it. I don't want to hear about no physical PG-13. Interactions with PG-13, right? No physical interactions and things like that. We don't want to get banned from YouTube.
And you don't want to ban yourself from society.
Hey, it's my face and John's face on this. Okay, nobody knows who these screen names are. We got Jack of Trades. Welcome. Good morning, Green Law Book and Chat. Welcome, man.
We have our first contestant.
we might. Hold on a second.
Maybe.
Just lurking in the background, this guy. Oh, all good. What about you, John? John, what do you got going on, man? Tell us about your crazy stories in the Army.
Crazy stories in the Army. Yeah, I mean, I've had plenty of them.
No hazing.
And no hazing. Yeah,
no hazing.
For sure. And plenty of them have probably involved alcohol, and probably plenty of them have been pretty reckless. Let me think. So I wasn't always the good upstanding soldier, and wasn't always soldier of the month and all those things. No.
Do tell.
I think that's like it used to be a prerequisite to be able to become a warrant officer. Is you had to have some kind of bad stuff in your record, and then they'd have to either waive it or give you like the blessing or the weird look with the one eyebrow up. And then they'd be like, all right, cool, you can be a warrant officer.
This guy's got a little salt in his drawers. Right?
Morning 66 T love. So I got in trouble doing some things back in the day when I was a lowly private at that time, and had to do I started out having to do some extra duty, which was kind of cool. Got to hang out with all the lost toys on the island of my unit where I was stationed at. And I think it was in the fall, sometime in the fall, we were raking leaves and picking up rocks and all kinds of stupid stuff. And we were using, and this wasn't my idea to begin with, but I was there and I had to participate. So we were using a forklift to move a dumpster around so that we can quickly pick up leaves and all kinds of stuff like that. Cool. Not too crazy. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I'll just hop in this thing, give it a little bit of weight because it was pretty empty. The dumpster was empty. I mean, they're kind of heavy, but they're still kind of lightweight. So I hopped in the dumpster. I'm like, all right, cool. Stick it on the forklift. It's on the forklift. We're driving around. We're picking up leaves.
Yeah.
The driver decides to start raising the fork. He was like, oh, it'd be cool if we could just raise the forklift up and see how high it can go with the dumpster on. And I was like, all right, cool, but I'm in here. He's like, yeah, don't worry, it's cool, it's safe, it'll be fine.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
So
totally not against OSHA at all. But go
sounds
ahead.
legit. Sounds legit. I mean, I think I was like 18, 19, 20. I don't know. I was pretty young. First
You'll
year
do
or
what
so.
you'll do.
So, and he's like, nah, you know, it'd be even cooler is if we have it in the air, because I was already up in the air. I'd be like 1 story up in the air already. He's like, no, we can go up higher. It's fine. It'll be safe. The thing's safe. We've already been moving around with it. Nothing happened yet. All right, cool. He's like, I'm going to raise it up to the 3rd floor of this building, and I'm going to park in front of this building and raise it up to the 3rd floor. And once you get up to the 3rd floor, like whatever window it happens to be, whoever's barracks room it happens to be, just scream in the window really loud. Like, okay, cool. Sounds legit. Let's do this.
Yeah.
I'm all about freaking people out. So lo and behold, we get it up in the air, and then that's when things went wrong. And somehow, some way, the dumpster tipped a little bit, and it started sliding off the forks. And mind you, I'm still inside the dumpster. So in the dumpster starts to slide, flies right off the forks, goes straight down to the ground, hits the ground. That wasn't the worst part of it, because I somehow survived that. But then the dumpster decides to roll over. I'm already like, I dove into the dumpster because I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. But if I'm inside,
is like the dumpster was at like what? How many stories high was it when it fell off?
3 stories.
3. You were inside. What was inside the dumpster that broke your fall? Like cardboard?
Leaves and stuff.
Okay, so landscaping crap.
Yeah.
Okay.
I dove into I ducked into the dumpster. I was like, if nothing else, I'm going to be inside the dumpster. I'll just try to push in the sides and hold myself in here and see what happens. And like, what else am I going to do? Jump out of the dumpster 3 stories up? No, thank you. So,
and this was in I imagine, so barracks, right? Probably a parking lot, maybe some landscaping.
There was some landscaping. It was right in front of a barracks. They had like this little quad area in between, which was grassy, and then they had some grass on the side and stuff. So it wasn't too terribly crazy. I think I hit a grassy patch when it came down. I don't know. It was moving pretty fast. Anyways,
that was. Yeah.
It
Go
was.
ahead. Go ahead. I don't mean to cut you off.
It wasn't the worst part. The worst part was as soon as the dumpster hit the ground, it started to roll over. I guess depending on which side was the heavier side, it started to roll over. I was like, all right, cool, let it roll. Whatever. It rolled over to the part where the flat part of the dumpster was on the ground. The open part was right here on the side, and then like the little door thing was up above it, right? So it rolled over. My leg was laying outside of the dumpster at that point, and then the door thing just said "kook" and cracked one of my lower bones on my leg.
It could have been a lot worse, man. Wow.
It could have been a lot worse. It was a lot of close calls like that in the Army. Needless to say, I was not doing any more extra duty, or at least not physical labor duty. After I went to the doc, went and got a cast on my leg and got some crutches and all that fun stuff. Yeah. And I went and talked to the sergeant major, and I was like, look, he's like, well, here's what's going to happen.
Hold on a second. I know you didn't walk into the sergeant major's office and say, look, I know that's not what happened. That's not how that sequence of events went.
He was basically like, okay, so we're gonna wait until you're out of your cast, and then you're gonna come back and finish your extra duty or whatever it is, week or 2 weeks, whatever it was. He's like, that's the way it's gonna happen. I'm like, look, I don't want to do that. Like, I'm trying to get this stuff over with. He's like, yeah, but this thing happened. You broke your leg, and now you can't do physical duty. So I was like, well, what else can I do? Is there anything else I can do? He's like, well, let me think about it. So he thought about it. He came back and found me, and he was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put you in the S4 office. We got a SOP that we need to write from scratch. He's like, you're going to sit in that office for the next 2 weeks and literally sit down and write the SOP and put it together and get it prepped so we can get it printed. So I got to spend 2 weeks in the S4, which is the logistics office at the battalion level. Wrote the SOP up. Got everything squared away. Got to make good friends with the S4 lieutenant who was there, who was in charge, and the NCOIC. Shortly after that, got pulled into a deployment to Bosnia, and then got pulled into the 3 shop shortly after that because they already knew me at the headquarters up at the HQ. So
Well, there you go.
And then that
It
set me
sounds
on
like it
my
worked out
path
for
to
you.
greatness. It was
Yeah.
the bad
So
thing that happened that put me in the right direction.
So it all because of a dumpster fail, like
Yes,
that set you off on the good footing towards greatness. Okay.
started from the bottom.
Now you're here, right?
Bottom of the barrel.
So real quick, just hitting the comments real quick. Navy Cop, welcome. Morning, gents, out in Coeur d'Alene. I think that's how you pronounce that. I don't know. Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, for the weekend. Getting ready to check out and head home. Check out and head home in a few. That's right, house hunting. That's awesome, man. Well, congratulations out there, man. Hoping that you find something that you love. Good. Jack for Trades. My first time driving a Hempt, H-E-M-T-T, towing ammo trailer. Go out the gate, shortcut and turn, and almost took out the colonel watching us leave. Just one story of many. Let's see. Did part of the annual honor the Fallen Ruck March. 2 of 5 miles because I am in some of the worst physical shape of my life. Met a bunch of great vets and vet nonprofits in the area. Okay. Oh, you mean like now, like recently, not when you were in the Navy. Okay. Got it. Well, good stuff,
Beautiful.
man.
Beautiful.
Morning, Combat Bulldozer. Morning. All right, we got Brian, aka Gunny, on the line. Let's bring him up here. Gunny, I'm going to put you in the middle here because that just seems like the right thing to do.
We got 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
5 minutes on the clock, man.
What's going on?
5 minutes. What's going on? Morning. So what you got there, Brian? Tell us your best.
Okay. Okay. Can you guys hear me? My computer's buffering a bunch.
Yeah, it's I don't. Your face looks like Minecraft, like pixels.
It's okay. Can you?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Bad this morning. All right.
I think you're buffering, dude. So I'll tell you what. Let me let's figure this out.
Thanks, AT&T. You're not working this morning, are you? So just on my phone. So sorry, guys.
Oh, good. It's cutting in and out. But I'll tell you what, man. Let's. Yeah. Now your face turning to a spinning wheel.
Truly.
So let's figure this part out here, and we'll bring you back on the line, Brian, as soon as we got this thing figured out. I'll tell you, man. There's a lot that kind of doesn't get told as far as like these experiences, things that happen. We're like, how the hell did that happen, right? Like, what did anybody else see this? There was a point in time where that same Marine that I served with, a couple barracks rooms down, this gentleman, we had the bright idea one Friday after work to go to the Home Depot nearby and get, it was like, I don't know, 100 feet of hose, something like that, some duct tape, a funnel, and then hit the liquor store afterwards. That was a good time because I had never I've never partaken in a what do you call those? The funnels where you drink the beer out of, the beer
bong.
Beer bong. I've never partaken in a 3-story beer bong before, so that was fun. We built that up from the 3rd story deck all the way down to the 1st story, and somebody was just kind of waiting there. And if you don't know, there's a thing called like gravity, right? So anybody out there listening, and as the liquid gains speed going down 100 feet, it will come out of the hose with explosive force, potentially down somebody's throat with explosive force. So that was fun to watch. And not only, you don't know what people are putting up there in the funnel. It could be beer. We were putting pickle juice, like whiskey, everything. as long as it's edible. There was like hot dog water, everything going on down there. So that was fun. And then you see the duty come by, or the staff duty officer come by, and he's like, "What the hell are you guys doing?" But he just turned his back. He's like, "Whatever, just don't cause any issues, and we won't have any problems." We're like, "Hey, good to go." This is what E3s will do.
Yeah. The E4 Mafia, E3 Mafia. Yeah. Yeah.
Navy cop. That beer bong story is the most Marine thing I've heard this morning. I didn't know what we were doing. Apparently these guys, I was like a new check-in. Apparently these guys have done it before. And I had no idea. I'm like, why are we going here? What are we doing? I was just kind of like following along because I was like the PFC or whatever. Yeah. And everybody else was like, Lance Goers were like, "Hey, come on, let's go PFC." They wouldn't even call me by my name. Like, "Hey, PFC, let's go." Good to go. So I just kind of followed along. I don't even know whose car I was in. We just went over to the Home Depot, just walking around, with our back, as new joins normally do, with your backpacks on, walking around town. You got the haircut, the fresh haircut, and all that. So we were definitely fitting that stereotype there of the new joins. But yeah, man, that was a good time. But yeah, that was definitely one of the most Marine things I've heard this morning as well. Brian Hahn, dude, I don't know what's going on with your internet. We got to get that rectified.
Get that man some Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Navy Cop says, did watch a forklift take a swim in the Persian Gulf during in unrep? Brakes failed or something. Didn't get the whole story on it, but thankfully it wasn't carrying a load at the time. Well, that's good. I mean, those things are expensive too, man. I mean, they're heavy and expensive. So it's not, it's on somebody's CMR or accountability report. So somebody's going to have to answer to that afterwards. Good morning. Who we got on here? Good morning, Combat Bulldozer. Good morning, Jack of Trades. Good morning, Homebody Miss Katie. Good morning. Good morning to all. Yeah, so today is all about your stories, not just mine and John's, your stories. We want to hear from you all. We got the QR code right next to John's forehead. And no, other hand, dude. Other hand. Other way. Other way, John. There you go. There you go. We got the QR code right there.
Got my video flipped. Okay, cool. It's like
on set. And just click on or take a photo or whatever that is, that QR code or however that works, and it'll take you to the live stream here. If you care to share your story on the live stream, and please have good Wi-Fi, then feel free to jump on and tell us in a 5-minute limit what your best military story is.
It'll either bring you to the live stream or it'll bring you to my eBay marketplace. One of the two.
Either way, I mean, if you show up to the eBay, buy something, whatever. Love yourself, says Ohio gozaimasu, buenos dias. Good morning, Vic, John, veteran, semper fidelis. Absolutely. Good morning to you as well. Great to have you here. Let me see here. Navy Cop, we sent a new check-in to the Auxiliary Machinery Division up to the medical officer, female lieutenant, to get 3 feet of fallopian tube for something we needed. She was a good spot. Gave him a foot of tubing. Fallopian tube. I will tell you, I did catch. So I at one point I was in charge of. I don't know if folks out there know what the ghee dunk is, like the coffee mess. Or the soda mess or whatever. It's a lot of offices have them. Like when you get people that come by, they can buy like chips and cookies or whatever the hell it is, drinks and all that. And in turn, they pay. Usually it's like you put it in a coffee can or whatever it is. So I was in charge of that at one time. And, we just had done a Costco run. So it was completely full. And I knew, because my office was right there. I could see people coming in and going, buying stuff, dropping money in there. So I'm like, okay, we probably got like a good $100. And this money was to offset the prices for the Marine Corps ball for the E5 and below. So we were just kind of like our fundraiser thing. So I'm going in there and I check it at the end of the week on Friday, every Friday. and I take accountability. I had my little notebook, my little green logbook and all that. And I'm checking this trash. I open up the freaking can and there's nothing but, there's no money in there. There's a couple like coins, you know, maybe like $3. And I'm like, I know we got like $100 in here. And there's a piece of paper that says IOU on it. And on the back, it has like writing on it. And I'm like, what the hell is this? So one of the Marines in the unit was treating that coffee mess like his own personal bank account, saying that he needed to borrow money. So he wrote an IOU on there and took like $100 out of the coffee can. I'm like, hey dog, this is not what that's for. You know, you're essentially stealing the money. And I have a feeling like you're not going to be able to repay it back because I know what your financial situation is. So let's give it back. So yes, don't treat coffee mess funds like a personal bank account. Learn that. Let's see. Jack of Trades says, my best violates terms and conditions. Don't get us kicked off of YouTube, man. Don't. I already had somebody. I think I had somebody report me at one point. They just didn't like my video. He said, watch our two medics working the 203 range, try to cross a high creek, and the ambulance Humvee float away around 100 yards before it beached. Tony Slaughter, welcome to the live stream, dude. Welcome to the live stream. See, I'm trying to pull up a photo on here that I had. Okay, so this one story is not from me. It's from my neighbor when I was living in Kaneohebe. So let me see. Let me see if I can share this. Okay. Yeah, this is exactly what it looks like. Let me share this on the screen. Okay, in 2018, there was this, everybody on the island of Oahu got this. And it was an emergency alert. Okay, it said ballistic missile threat inbound to Hawaii. Seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill. Okay, my phone went off. I was not on duty. I had duty the night before. The following day, and this was on 13 January 2018, my neighbor, he was a Chief Warrant Officer 4, had duty, or 3 maybe. He had not pinned on 4 yet. He was on duty, and usually when you're on duty, it's kind of chill, right? Like you go check in, you pick up your weapon, stuff like that, make sure it's all cleared, and you know, you do your rounds, log stuff in, make sure things are locked. You know, I'm sure people have had duty here before. So pretty routine stuff. Then I'm not sure what time of day it was. It was like, it had to have been like in the afternoon sometime because I was home around that time with my kids. And then this emergency alert came about on the cell phones. And man, when I say the story that this dude told me, he was just hanging out watching the news in the duty hut, like in the COC, like nothing. He got the alert. He's like, what the hell is this? And the thing is, we have duty like once every 2 months. So you're not really prepared for what's about to happen when you have something of this magnitude that comes about. And so he told me he's flipping through the binder, trying to figure out like, what do I do in an emergency like this? You know? And at the same time, within 5 minutes, because the CO lived 5 minutes away, right on base, the CO shows up. He's like, hey, have you made the calls to everybody to stand up the COC? You know, where's where's this guy? Where's that guy? Because everybody has a seat, right? They're all like named. And he's like, sir, I haven't called anybody. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? Just you got a colonel here yelling at this chief warrant officer, and just he didn't know what was happening. He's just trying to call anybody at any time, like, hey, we got this ballistic missile inbound. Come here, come here, come here, come here. Hands down, he said one of the worst nights of his life. So it was funny to hear after the fact. He was like, the colonel wanted to speak to him directly after the fact because of the way it was all handled. We'll come to find out, like, since we don't do all these trainings, so, as often as we should, that prompted, of course, when there's issues, that prompts something new to come about, some new orders, some new regulations. So that prompted more training on how to stand up the COC and all that stuff. So that was just listening to his story. I'm like, dude, I know you had duty last night, man. How'd it go? He's like, oh, bro, I don't even want to talk about it, man. Like, terrible. I couldn't not laugh. I'm like, I'm so glad it didn't happen on my watch, man. I'm so glad. Terrible time, dude.
It's insane. And that kind of text, like, so what was the impetus of the message? Like, where the hell did the message come from?
So the message was a false. So it was a false alert, and these things get sent out by Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor being like towards the middle of Oahu, and it was like somebody pressed the wrong button or something. I don't know. Like they I don't know how you press the wrong button, but if you watch like the news of that day on Hawaii, like people were running out of like Walmart, like, because it hits everybody's phone. Like if you ever get like an Amber Alert on your iPhone, like it goes to everybody in the area, right? And so you just see like people like running out of like Targets and Walmarts, like seeking shelter. Like I grabbed my kids and I got in a closet. I'm like, hey, and I'm trying to call my wife because she's at work, and I'm like, I couldn't get through. So I'm like, just in case, I guess this is it. Like it was a very like sobering moment. But then when I got like, I don't know if there was a message after the fact. I can't recall. But I think there was a message that came to everybody after the fact saying false alarm or whatever. But man, within those 5 minutes, it was like just waiting. It was a strange time because Oahu's not that big. And if you got ICBMs coming in, like those things are going to take some things out. But yeah, it was just a false alarm. It's crazy false alarm, but
yeah,
thankful it was.
I wonder who got fired that day.
Oh, I hope somebody did. That's crazy.
Yeah. Jump in here real quick.
So you got what the hell do you have on that?
Oh,
you got something on the background here. Okay, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about that. Homebody Miss Katie wanted to share a resource recently learned more about last night. Attended premiere of the Some Function documentary and had the opportunity to learn more about the Oscar Mike Foundation. Oscar Mike, is that the same Oscar Mike Radio? I think I met those people out at Mick when I was out there.
Awesome.
One thing caught my attention is one of the founders, Noah Courier, is from the Rockford area. Oscar Mike's home base is right here in Illinois. Awesome. Yeah. And I mean, if you want to pass that on to us.
Yeah, good stuff.
Whatever.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Okay. For veterans looking for adaptive recreation, community support, maybe worth checking out for those who simply want to support a veteran-focused nonprofit. There are also opportunities for that. Vic, did you get a car?
For the inbound ballistic thing? No, I did not. No car received from that. Not even a thank you. No. Let me see. Jack of Trades has some good information here. Never be the first one to pass out.
Yeah.
Yes. And if you are going to pass out, hide all the Sharpies, because people will do some things and put things on your forehead that you don't want to wake up to. Trust me.
Sharpies and shaving cream.
Yeah. Yeah. We did have, we were doing a mass barracks inspection many years ago. And there was, I had this Marine that worked for me, this female Marine, and she was kind of kept to herself, a little bit like a loner almost, right? Like just not real talkative, and she lived in the barracks and all that, and I kind of, when she checked in and I noticed her personality, it kind of gave me the indication like maybe I should just kind of keep an eye on her to see how things go. And when we did these barracks inspections, it was they were looking for alcohol, they're looking, just all these different things, and I just happened to pop my head in there because the CO was like, hey, I want to see some officers there to look at this stuff, right? I don't want it just to be, I want you all to be involved and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, good to go. So I showed up there, and as I showed up, I went into that, this, usually your Marines have, or your folks have, they're on right next door to each other in the barracks, and walked into her room, and she's there, and then a couple other people are just doing their inspection stuff, and they lift up the bed, so there's storage under the racks, right under the beds. They lift up the bed, storage there, and she had, and you hear her scurrying and shit like inside of a cardboard box. There's a box with holes in it, and I'm thinking like, what the hell is that? And then I'm looking at the gunny, and we're looking at each other like, what the hell? And she had a pet rat under her bed, right? She was like a legit pet rat, right? Like it was in a box and all that. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think you can have a pet rat in the barracks. That's not a thing. So yeah, she couldn't have it, so she had to get rid of it somehow.
Yeah. I don't have
rats.
I don't have pet rats. I do have an interesting story, and I want to bring this guy to the stage real quick and introduce him. This is Harold. Harold is a wild boar or wild pig, however you want to call it. It's usually grow in many different parts of the world. This one's particularly from Germany. That's why it's called das Wildschwein. You can identify them by their funky little tusks that come up from the bottom and go straight up. I think so this guy was in a Disney movie, I believe, probably The Lion King or something like that. I forget which one he was in, but pretty famous. So anyways, Harold was hanging out at a train depot in Germany one year. And it was one of the first years where the US military actually did an exercise in Poland. So we set up this thing, worked with the Polish government. That's when they were trying to get onboarded to become part of the EU. So they're like, yeah, we can bring you to the country. You can come and do your exercise, do all your live fire, whatever you want to do, and drive tanks all over the place and fly helicopters everywhere and do whatever you guys want to do. So we set up a huge exercise. It was a core level exercise, meaning basically the entirety of most units in Germany at the time, and also other partner nations came to hang out with us as well. So anyways, this guy was in the train depot in Germany. We had loaded up all the trucks, all the equipment on these trains, and we were sitting in this train depot for hours and hours and hours waiting to take off for our multi-hour long journey up to Poland. And I think we were there from early morning, so it was dark in the morning until late at night, maybe 11, 12, 1 a.m. We were literally sitting on the trains for most of the time because we had already done loading, preloaded everything. Looking out the window of the train, sitting there, hanging out with some of my army folks, and I saw a pack of these guys, him and some of his family members, running around the train yard. They're just running back and forth and doing random stuff that wild boars do. And this guy, for some reason, I don't know if he saw a shiny thing on the side of the train or something, but he stopped, he turned, and he beelined for the train, like from, I don't know, hundreds of yards away. He just beelined for the train full speed. And he was going, coming across the train yard, the train depot yard there. And he ended up stopping at the train abruptly. And basically he ran straight into one of the wheels of the train and headbutted it and knocked himself out cold. And I mean, we couldn't get off the train, but we were all looking out the window to check it out. Eventually, he came to. He got up. He rejoined his clan, and they went on to do great wild boar things with their lives. But that was one of the funniest moments that I've ever seen in the military from wild animals.
I'll tell you, these boars, these pigs, hogs, or whatever they are.
Yeah.
They tend to be a nuisance around crops, around farmland. Mm-hmm. Right. When I was in Hawaii, they were the same thing. So people hunted them, and they just destroy things, right? Farms, they eat everything. Yeah. So at one point, I'm driving down the 5, right, or not the 5, the H3, I think it was, to go back to K-Bay, and it's a long road. And, you take it up to like 80, 90 on that road if you want to, right? The cops don't actually show up until like after you hit the hill. And so we're going fast, and all of a sudden I see what looks like, I thought it was like a person, dude, like trying to run across the street. And I just see like this truck and like way ahead of me, just like, it just looked like pink dust. It was like, just shit flying everywhere. I'm like, holy crap, and we drive by so fast. I'm like, I didn't get a chance to look. I didn't get a chance to see. I was with my wife. I was like, oh my God, did you see that? She's like, what the hell was that? Oh my God, I don't know. Was it a person? So I actually called like 911. I was like, hey, I think somebody like just got hit hit here. And we did a U-turn. I got off of the exit, did a U-turn. And it was one of these hogs actually that tried to run across the street. And then when you got a hog in like a Dodge Ram or a Toyota Tundra or something like that, whatever it was, the hog ain't gonna win, bro. So this thing just got dismembered. It was like I've never seen so much graceful pink stuff flying through the air. I'm like, wow, that's kind of crazy. Speaking of your Pumbaa, I don't know if you've ever seen this. This had me rolling, dude, laughing. I just got to share this on here. Let me stop this one and share this screen here. And let me know if you can hear this, okay? So this is what the Lion King actually means when they sing their song.
That's Zulu. That's
Zulu.
South African.
Can you do that?
Yeah, I can do it.
Do it.
So
Ready?
you sing it like Dancing Gonya Magiti Baba.
You were way off.
Ingonya Ma.
All right.
What does it mean?
It means, look, there's a lion. Oh my God.
You're joking. That is not what that means. That is not what that means.
That's exactly what it means.
That's what
It means, look, there's a lion.
Oh
Oh my God.
It's a
Look, there's a lion. Oh my God.
It's a lion.
Did you know that?
I did not know that. Not at all.
Look, so when everybody's thinking that they're singing something so graceful, like in African language, ziganya, whatever. Look, there's a lion. Oh my God. Oh man, I saw that. I couldn't stop laughing for the first time. Oh man. What do we got here in the chat, man? We said we got oh man, a couple of things here. Let me go up here. Marcus Aurelius, welcome 2025. Eyebrows get half shaved off of this Echo pass out first two. Hey, it happens, dude. Just don't be the first one to pass out. Jack of Trades, back in my day, it wasn't Sharpie and shaving cream. It was Nair and the pens that surgeons use to mark you. Oh man. Where do they get these things from? Is there like a surgeon store nearby? Said I was in the guard with crazy rednecks from Tennessee and Georgia as a 13 Bravo shooting 8-inch artillery, a wild group of guys, but could hit garbage cans at 20 miles. Excellent. Backwoods Law, good to have you, buddy. Welcome, welcome.
Welcome back. And welcome back, Army Grunt.
Yes, U.S. Army grunts in West Berlin in the 80s. We called them Grunwald hogs, or I don't know, Grunwald hogs, maybe. They were there everywhere in the forest. And
Oh,
those
yeah.
things are fast, man. Like if you ever
Fast
watch
and
these hogs
vicious.
run, like Hawaii has a ton of these. So I'm driving down the highway. You can see them like, because there's nothing but like forest on the road next to the road
No.
in some parts. And you just see these things like just fine, like running full speed, and they're like, holy crap, they're actually like kind of keeping up with the cars at some point.
No.
Yeah, it's yeah, they're fast, man. They just can't turn as quickly.
No.
So
Like
it's
my friend found out when he hit the side, the train wheel. He wasn't able to hit the brakes fast enough.
That's part of like the safety briefs when you're over in Hawaii. The safety briefs are like, hey, don't swim in rip currents. And if you encounter a hog, like run like in a zigzag, or like turn diagonally, because they can't turn effectively.
Yeah. And if they catch you with them fangs on their mouth, in the bottom leg, like in the shin or the calf or something like that, it's a bad day.
Yeah,
It's
bad
not a
day.
good day.
Exactly. I gotta read this out here, man. Navy cop logging off. Turns out the hotel night desk guy stole $200 and took off before morning, helping out the current staff and manager with reporting to the cops and guy getting trespassed civilians. Dang, Navy cop over here doing work on investigations while he's on leave. All right.
What's this one? I must have missed this one. Let me see this. Hey, John, did this experience happen in the Army? Which experience are you speaking of, sir? All the experiences happened in the Army, of course. Every single one of them so far.
Back, well, I like this. Woke up on the right side of the dirt. So pretty good day, I would say. Yeah, I'd be pissed if I didn't, man. I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
They're not faster than 5.56 or 7.62. No, they are not faster than 5.56 or 7.62 rounds.
Fortunately.
Yeah. So, and it's great to see it sometimes, like when you're driving around out there on the island and you see like these hogs that have been like, they're just kind of spread out on the back of somebody's truck. Like, oh man, they're not specifically like those hogs, like just regular pigs. I guess people buy pigs and then they roast them or whatever, but you can tell there's some good eating going on. I did not chase down any hog. No. There is, I have seen this company, several companies, where you can actually get into helicopters and take like 50 cows and go hog hunting from the helicopter. It looks freaking awesome because they're, the feral hogs. They're invasive. So it looks like a fun time.
Yeah, speaking of 5.56, I read this, I guess it was a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, that the at least the U.S. Army, I don't know about the rest of the services, but the U.S. Army is slowly phasing out 5.56 ammunition as they go to their new squad weapons. The new squad weapons will be 6.8 by 51 millimeter rounds. So 5.56 is going to be a thing of the past soon enough.
Really?
Yep. Now everybody's got a new gun that they have to get to put on their shelf to catch up with the rest of the assault rifle people. M4 is not a thing anymore.
I tell you that one of my neighbors, when I was living in North Carolina, had just moved into a new house out there. It's like a nice neighborhood, right? I had a neighbor across the street. He was a retired sergeant major. And this dude has some stuff going on, right? Like he had this, it was like a 5-bedroom house. Like these homes in North Carolina are huge, right? Like ours was like maybe a 4-bedroom house. His was a 5, a little bit larger than we had. But he lived by himself. He was like newly divorced, lived by himself, and this huge house. And he had a couple of guest rooms. Like he invited me in at one point, and he had one room. It was a huge room. It was like a 20 by 20 room or something, dedicated to his armory. And he just had like weapons all over the place. I'm like, oh, this is freaking insane. Like I know where to go now if there's like some kind of apocalypse. But I invited him to my house. So my house had a view of the entryway of that subdivision that we lived in, like the front gate and all that stuff. And we went up to the attic. And the attic was unfinished, so I was like showing him around. I'm like, yeah, I kind of want to make this into a bedroom and stuff like that. And he's there by the window and he's looking outside the window and he's like, man, you got some clear views here of the avenues of approach, man. And I'm like,
Okay.
hey, dog. I'm like, hey, dog. He's like, yeah, man, we can really like, he's like, shit pops off, man. We coming up here. I'm like,
Aye.
right on, man. I was like, do I need to get this guy out of my house or what? Like, what's happening? Good dude though, man. Good dude. Always barbecuing, inviting us over. You know, great guy. Great guy. Yeah, but you get those folks out there, man, with those you know, they got that weird twitch in their eye. They're like, yeah, avenues of
Preppers.
approach. Yeah, and I'm like, hey, Sergeant Major, maybe we could have intersecting lines of fire here between your house and mine, and you know,
Or get him a t-shirt that says chill, bro.
chill, bro. Right? Still in the fight. Let's see, U.S. Army grunt. When we were night training, that was part of the safety brief. What to do during night training or bivouacking. Normally, one NCO had 45 cal with ammo for that reason. Also, I am both a fan and not a fan of the word bivouacking.
Bivouacking.
Yeah, especially during night training.
The hog. Did it chase you down? No, it did not chase me down. Thankfully, I've been in the woods. Spent many moons out at Grafenwehr training area, Vilsec training area in Germany as well. Most of the Army folks know where that's at, and there's tons of hogs out there as well. And they would be around our sites, and at night we'd have to keep an eye on them. And yeah, they'll chase you around and be annoying. But no, that particular hog did not chase me down. We were stuck on a train, getting ready to head off to Poland, and it was a whole brigade worth of people on a train, I think maybe more. And it just happened to be looking out the window and happened to see this hog come running across the train yard. And then I heard the thud. And I didn't have a camera phone at the time, unfortunately. So
See that? And he's asking what part of Poland.
So I have to dig through my memory banks. I know we were near Warsaw, but not too near. Maybe about an hour away from Warsaw. It's the very, very first time they did an exercise. I can Google it real quick. Corps exercise 1999. I think it was 99. Bydrusko near Poznan, Poland. Bydrusko. That was where the Corps headquarters was. But yeah, I think we were like an hour and some change away.
Tony Slaughter's asking some very pointed questions, man.
I know, right? I think he was there.
I gotta I don't know what's happening here. Did you see this? What exactly did you see? What time?
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was my first time. Got a tooth knocked out. This one right there by a freaking well, that could be another interesting story. Not really interesting, but by a camo net. You know those camo nets that you put up, and they have those three bladed things that you put on the top of the poles, and you jam them up underneath the camo. One of those, pulling down some camo to move a trailer out of the way, so we could put the camo back, so we could take the trailer and then do some stuff with it. And pulled the camo pole, and the camo pole said, "Pow!" Smacked me right in the face and knocked out this tooth.
Damn.
Completely knocked out. I just looked down, I saw blood, and then I saw, and I was like, what the hell's going on? And I reached up in my mouth, and I didn't feel a tooth there anymore. I was like, uh-oh. Got the tooth, put it in some milk, took a helicopter out to the hospital in Warsaw, in this medieval hospital. Don't ever go to the hospital. It's probably better now, but it was medieval. It was literally medieval. It was like, and nobody was around and nobody spoke English. It was all Polish nurses, and it was this long corridor that wasn't lit, and you know, some weird hospital. It was weird. It was so strange. Woke up to a shot in the butt.
Oh,
yeah.
Like you're talking about like medicine, right?
Yeah, medicine. Not
okay.
Not
Okay.
that,
Just making
not
sure.
not an OnlyFans
Yeah.
shot in the butt.
Yeah. No. Okay. Just making sure. Not only lonely fans.
OnlyFans.
He said no sound. Is it? Are we? Yeah, you can hear us, right? We got sound. We got sound.
Check.
Pretty
One,
sure.
2, 1, 2.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. It's always fun going to these different locations, and what I found was like when folks go to maybe Oconus, folks tend to lose their mind because they're away from the U.S.
Yeah.
You still add a military installation, but you know you're away from what you knew in the U.S. So it's a whole different world. You are now that Indominus Rex that's seeing everything for the first time. You know, that huge white dinosaur. So, yeah, you get these folks who do some crazy stuff while they're out there. You know, like I was at Marine Corps Station Iwakuni, and once you leave the base, you are you got to know some kind of Japanese. You know, you got to know something, right? Because you know, Iwakuni specifically, I mean, yes, it was next to a military installation. However, it was like a lot of farmland around there, you know, smaller town. It's about 30 miles from like Hiroshima. But then, you know, I would work on investigations and you get calls from like PMO, like, hey, we got this investigation going on. We got 2 lieutenants that are jumping from the top of house to house. Because these Japanese houses are so close together, you know, and they're like jumping on the ceramic tile roofs. You know, at one point, we had to go out and do this Gomenasai visit with this guy, which means I'm sorry, right? And I'm sorry visit. Anytime somebody does something wrong to somebody else, you know, in the local community or in the Japanese culture, you do this Gomenasai visit, which usually bring gifts saying, hey, almost like I'm sorry for having done this to you, you know, and you bring gifts or whatever. And this one guy, young cat too, he had the wrong house, and he was throwing. You know how you throw like the freaking pebbles to get somebody's attention. You know, he had the wrong house. He was like 2 houses over from where his buddy lived, and he threw a freaking brick through the sliding glass door off the balcony, broke the sliding glass door, broke it, crawled up top. I'm like, no shit, investigation, crawled up and found like a family huddled in the corner trying to figure out what's going on. Like the dad is like covering the family, like, hey, what, you know, stop. And of course, you know, I'm like, what do you do then? You know, the police get called and all this stuff happens. I had to go out there with Japanese jurisdiction people and look at the report, and you know it comes through the legal side as well. Then you have to go out there for the Gomenasai visit. I didn't physically go out there, right? But the Japanese folks from our office, and then this person goes out there, and then they give them like this $100 melon or whatever the hell it is, you know, that they sell over there. And for some reason, it's Pizza Hut. They brought like 5 boxes of Pizza Hut because they don't have Pizza Hut out in Japan, right? They have it on base. So whenever we open up the base for like family day or for friends day or whatever, the line outside of Pizza Hut is like all the way around the corner, around the block. So they bring them Pizza Hut, they bring them these melons, like gifts, like I'm sorry for having done this to you. And then we get the bill, you know, it has to come through our office, get the bill for fixing the sliding glass door. And it was something crazy. It was like $10,000 to fix the sliding glass door. I was like, yeah, I think they might have added a couple thousand on there because I don't know if that's how much that costs. But
That was the price in yen, not the price.
no, that was you. Yeah, probably right. I thought I was like, is this yen, right? It's all about the Yenjamins, man. So no, it's crazy how it all works. But yeah, learn. Don't do dumb stuff in a foreign country.
Yeah. Or you
Lesson
pay
learned.
the price. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
man.
even stuff that you don't know is dumb at the time, and it's maybe normal in the US and it's not so normal overseas. Like I remember a couple times where we had usually when we go and do exercises, we have like refuelers. Those are our logistics folks, and some of them are specifically refuelers and fuel handlers and stuff like that. And they would set up these refueling stations. So we'd be out in the middle of nowhere, Germany somewhere, or wherever we happen to be doing exercises at, usually in Germany. And they'd set up these refueling stations. So basically what they do is they have the refueling truck, the great big refueling truck, and then they have a smaller refueling truck, and then they have like this big tarp that they lay on the ground. And you basically pull the vehicles over to the tarp. They put down the drip pan or whatever to catch anything else, and then they refuel the vehicles. Well, in Germany specifically, if you drop any fuel on the ground, on regular ground, you have to send up a report to let everybody know in the chain of command, and then the chain of command has to report that to the German authorities. The German authorities come out and they do like an EPA test on the ground to see what happened and what was spilled and how much of it was spilled. And then usually what happens is they'll dig this huge like swimming pool trench around the area where the fuel or JP8 or whatever happened to be dropped on the ground. And then they'll excavate that and they'll have to do some other EPA kind of stuff with it. But that usually ends up costing tens of thousands of euros per incident.
For some fuel spillage?
For just a drop of fuel spillage. It's really insane.
Wow.
I've seen it a couple times play out. And the commander's pissed because they have to go through all that paperwork for one, and then they got to fork out all that money over to the Germans to clean it up. It's crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. I'll share an investigation that I conducted. I was assigned as I not only gave classes and gave instruction on investigations like judge advocate general investigations and things like that, preliminary inquiries and command investigations. At one point, the CO assigned me as the investigator, or the what do you call him? I guess the investigator, right? For the IO, investigating officer, for this one incident that happened. It was over on K-Bay in Hawaii, behind a range. Like you got the rifle range out there, and you got the pistol range, which shoots like into the ocean. So like you're facing the ocean, right? And you got your target, and you shoot and whatever, it goes onto the ocean. But there was somebody from the range after hours. It was like on a weekend. There was like no ranges going on around that time. Decided he had family visiting, decided to take his family into this off limits place. And it's off limits because it's a Hawaiian burial ground back there. Like nobody goes. I mean, there's clear signs that say, do not pass this, do not collect $200, whatever it is. There's clear signs, right? Hawaiian burial ground. The story back there is that the old ruler, Kamehameha, at one point, he would have his warriors or whoever it is from his army jump from this cliff. And if they survived, they were worthy enough to be a part of his circle, his people. But they're jumping in like, there's like a space where you jump in where there's like no rocks. So if you jump like to the left and right of that, you're going to get dismembered, right? Like we took a, not a staff ride. It was like an officer outing or whatever it is. We went to PT and we ran back there because there's some trails, and we kind of looked down, and there's, we understood the story. We heard the story of it all. So this range guy, he took his family back there, knowing that it was off limits. At that time, this dude's father has a heart attack while he's at the top of this hill. And this guy's like, crap, what do I do? I'm not even supposed to be up here. Went back down, to try to get a four-wheeler to get his dad back down, right? Like off the mountain. He knew he wasn't going to make it back in time because it just took too long. He couldn't find the keys or whatever. So he called for assistance. They had like a helicopter come in, lift the dad up or whatever it is, take him to the hospital and all that stuff. And then he tried to clean up the mess. He's like, yeah, how's this get reported, et cetera, et cetera. Of course, they're going to report that if you got like the helicopter coming to pick up a body, somebody,
Yeah.
The guy's still alive, right? Coming to pick somebody up off the mountaintop from a restricted area. So when you're in the investigating officer, you have to go and ask these questions. I sat down with the guy and not a lot was said, of course, right? Because he's like, yeah, do I need to get an attorney? I was like, well, do you feel like you need to get an attorney? Like, I'm not saying you don't have to. You can do whatever you'd like. These are the questions I need to ask you per the investigating officers so I can make my investigating officer's report. But yeah, I mean, talk about being at the wrong place at the wrong time, man. Like heart attack on top of a mountain and a restricted area, dudes running around with his head cut off, trying to figure out what the hell to do, just terrible all around. But hey, end of the day, don't do stuff you're not supposed to do, man, especially restricted areas.
Yeah. Don't get caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. And be the last one passing out.
Yeah, don't be the last one passing out. That's great advice. So who gave that advice, man? Somebody up there.
Yeah, somebody.
Yeah. So good stuff. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, if anybody has any good stories, we'd love to hear your stories of your time in service, maybe even outside of service. I have a good friend of mine, really good friend of mine, and I believe him when he tells me this because it's something that happens. So he said that he was walking with a pizza in New York City, and he fell, and Bill Murray walked up to him, ate a slice of the pizza, took a bite, and he put it back down on the pizza, and he said, "Nobody will ever believe you," and walked away. And he tells me that story. I was like, I don't know if I believe you, but I have no reason to doubt you because you've never lied to me.
Yeah.
But as I understand it, just Bill Murray does these type of things, right? He just goes around and just shows up places. I think he's got a house in South Carolina somewhere. He lives in Charleston or something.
Oh.
Let's see what we got here. Looking at some of these comments here. I think we're caught up on maybe not, man. Let me go up here. Backwoods. God forbid it wasn't in, I don't know what the hell that Wasserschugabit. I'm sure
Wasserschutzgebiet.
Okay, he's sure that he spelled it wrong. I'm sure that I pronounced it wrong, man.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah,
crap.
Put the correct spelling right underneath that. But yeah, that's even worse. That's a protected water area, basically, is what that translates to.
Yeah. So I will say I want to give a quick shout out to my brother Mike. He's here listening. He's in the live stream somewhere, and I know he just stepped out of
where's Waldo?
The room here. Like where's Mike? Where's Waldo? So he's over in the living room right now, and I want to give him a shout out. He's Navy Chief Petty Officer. He's visiting today from Florida. Navy Chief Petty Officer. He'll be retiring here in a few months. And so shout out to him and all the folks who are retiring, who are listening in and retiring this year. Shout out to you all. It's not an easy transition by any means. It is a major shift in your life for you and your family. But damn, once you find your way through that, navigate that first phase of feeling that loss of tribe and camaraderie and all that stuff, the world opens up for you, and it feels amazing because you do now have the freedom to do what you want to do on your own terms. So shout out to all these folks who are about to embark on that journey. There's a question for you there, John.
Did I ever get a TC that thought it was fun to take his M1 from the 3/4 cav to a farmer's field? That was, I can't see because there's.
That was a FUBAR situation you walked into.
Huh. Yeah, no, I never had a TC that crazy before. I do have a funny TC story, but no, nah, we didn't do too much crazy stuff like that. I know, same Poland trip, and I'm sure the statute of limitations has run out on this, and like half of the people are dead either way. I remember, and I don't know who it was, I'm not going to say any names, but I remember hearing stories about, while we were in Poland, hearing stories about people taking Humvees at night off duty. And granted, we're in Poland, so like, where are you going to go besides the barracks or wherever you're living, or if you're in the tents or whatever? Taking Humvees and going to like local strip clubs in Poland, out in the middle of nowhere, parking the Humvees in front of the strip clubs, going in the strip clubs, doing whatever things happen in the strip clubs, and then coming back in the evenings after that and parking the Humvees and then going back to work the next day. As you do when you're on deployed, well, training exercise.
Dude, driving at night in a Humvee.
Yeah.
While
I don't know if they were doing night ops. They might have been doing night ops. They might have had nods on or something, you know. It might have been.
I'll tell you, I had this simple thing, this simple task. So I went through the Humvee course and all that stuff, had my Humvee license and all that. Drove Humvees while I was deployed. And I had this one simple task at one point that was simply take this lieutenant colonel to the JCOT, which was the airport, right? The airport there. Of course, there's no Google Maps. You know, you just have to I went there once before,
right. And
like I was driving, and I was sure that I went the right way, but it's like there's no street lights. You know, it's like just HESCO barriers, and you got to hope that you went one way. And then if you come across like a fork in the road, usually there's a sign there like JCOT this way or whatever it is. And I can't even remember what the JCOT stood for. And I just couldn't find my way. And this lieutenant colonel was like, "Hey, dog, like, you've done this before? Like, have you been here before?" I'm like, I promise you I have. And finally I got him there. But I shit you not, man. It took me like an hour and a half. What usually takes like 30 minutes to get back took me like an hour and a half to 2 hours because I could not find my way in the dark, man. I was like, no, where am I? Like, I had to stop and like, does this look familiar? Like, where am I? Like, the HESCO barriers are different on this side, so I think I'm going the right way, you know? But yeah, it was a long night. It was a long night. It was one of those like, hey, you know, they only fly out at night from these JCOTs. So got to drop them off at like 7 p.m. or something like that. And I was sleepy. I was tired. I was like, damn, man, this sucks. So, and at one point I got stuck in a Humvee. So the door wouldn't open, and it was like 120 degrees outside. And I was riding with this master sergeant. Master sergeant got out and closed the door. And I'm like, well, I can't get out of, I mean, the Humvees usually have this whole thing in the middle, right? You can't crawl onto the other side, right? Because there's all this crap in the middle, right? So I'm like, what do I do? You know, like try to open up the window, but the window, you know, they're like this thick, you know, like the glass, and you try to get my hand out, but I couldn't get it out. I'm trying to take off my vest and all that. I'm like, man, there's not that much room. So I'm sweating. I'm thankful that somebody came out and they're like, "Hey, dog, you need help?" I'm like, "Please, yes, I do." I'm sitting here for like 15 minutes in 120-degree weather, just completely soaking wet in my own sweat. Yeah, terrible time, man. It was. I was ready to accept my fate at that point. Like I might just, it might just end here for me. Like I can't figure out a way out. Man. Yeah, Backwards Law says bringing up the statute of limitations. This must be good. Yeah, you got to make sure you're within the regs, man. Tony Slaughter brings up a good point here. Travel a lot when you get out. Absolutely, man. Travel.
It brings
a
up
lot.
a couple good points.
Yeah. This summer, dude, is the summer of Space A. I'm going to be using Space A, seeing how far I can take it. So I'll be documenting that from the time that I submit the paperwork to the time I get into or on the manifest and get on the plane, get off the plane, etc. So I'll be covering all that stuff. So it should be good. It should be a fun time. And I won't be doing it by myself. I got my kids with me. So if you plan on traveling with kids, yeah, should be a good time. I have been to the naval station out there in Key West. It is beautiful. I love it out there. But no, he's not out there. Tony Slaughter, are you going to DC for the World Cup? Negative. They're having a World Cup up here in Los Angeles as well. I think San Francisco as well. So I'm over on the West Coast. Dude, I mean, I love soccer and I love the World Cup and I always wanted to go to the World Cup, but there was like, it's hard to get tickets. It's hard to get tickets ahead of time because you have to be part of like this lottery. And then when I looked at tickets, they were like for something decent where you're not like up in the nosebleeds, it was like $4,000 a ticket. So though it's here in LA, you know, sadly I probably won't be going to it because of the those prices. I'm just not willing to pay for those prices.
What about VetTix? Maybe VetTix has tickets
To the World Cup? Dude,
I don't know. I'm about to find out. They must be logged in. Okay, log in. Logging in now. I'm going to check now. I'm curious. I'm sure they probably got tickets.
They do. Those things are probably gone, man.
I know in 06 in Germany, I think it was 06 when they had the World Cup in Germany, and you get the tickets through the was it the USO office? It was one of those offices on the base where you could get tickets to some of the games.
The ITT?
Yeah.
Information tours and travel. Yeah, I usually go through them for like baseball tickets because they usually have like really good seats already reserved. Like they have like the season, like they reserve these season passes or whatever. So they have like row 3 seats.
Yeah.
So it's really good stuff. Really good stuff there going through ITT. John, you know what, man? I went to this this vet. I don't know if it was like a mixer networking event, whatever it was this past week. And you never know who you're going to meet at these places, right? Like I just happened to be at one of these tables. You know, like it was in this big lobby, like good area to be in, right? Like a lot of the outer lying areas of the lobby was a few nonprofits that had like their table set up with a representative to talk about it. And they had these little tables in the middle. So I stood there at the table, I had my drink, and this lady stops by. She like puts her bag down. She's like looking through something on her bag, and then she's looking a little like, you know, just kind of standing there, and it was kind of awkward. So I go, hey, so what do you do? You know, like who do you work for? And she happens to be like the public affairs officer or whatever for all of the American Legions across all of California. Okay. I'm like, oh, no crap, you know? So, and then she introduced me to this other dude who runs these other veteran organizations across different counties. Not expecting to have to meet these folks, right? And so I brought up some ideas that they could potentially use at the American Legion or even VFWs. And she's like, huh, you've got some good ideas. Let's connect, you know, things like that. So it's worth it to go to these networking events. Like you never know who you're going to meet or what they're about. This lady just happened to stop by. I would have probably never talked to her in any other situation. Yeah. Or even the other dude who stopped by. But he gave me some good information on schooling. He gave me some good information on, I brought up the idea of podcasting and YouTube studios within the VFWs and American Legions. Like, hey, have an office in the back. And he's like, while we look at that, he's like, right in his office building where he works, he's like, they have a soundproof video and audio studio that never gets used. He's like, do you want to use it? I go, are you inviting me to use it? He's like, you can come and use it if you want. I'm like, shoot, man. So it's only for nonprofits. They're the only ones that are allowed to use it. So I got to figure this out. Possibly jump on with the American Legion and allow them to be my nonprofit sponsor to be able to do something like this. Because I was looking for a place around the area where I can actually invite people to do like podcast recordings, so I don't have to bring them into my own studio here.
Yeah.
So good stuff, man. Connections, they work, man. They work.
And that's local to you in San Diego?
That is in San Diego. That's right. That is local
Nice.
here. Local here. But yeah, I'm curious to hear some more freaking stories, dude. Today's all about the live veteran call-ins, sharing your best military stories. I shared a couple of mine, how people pass out. At one point, there was, again, a lot of these tend to be like when you're a young like service member, right? Like I had a, oh gosh, this was kind of disturbing, actually. It was, there was a rap at my door at approximately 10 p.m. I was playing PlayStation and my barracks room. And I wondered, like, everybody's in their rooms, like, who's knocking my door? Usually when you hear knocking your door like at 10 p.m. or something like that, like on a work night,
It's not a good
it's like,
thing.
hey, somebody, well, it's either not a good thing or, you know, one of your buddies needs something, right? So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, here, rap my door. And I'm wondering, okay, who's that? You know, pause my game, go to the door, and I open it, and I see this lady standing there with like chow hall, mess hall, to-go trays, like those styrofoam trays. And I'm like, yeah, how can I help you? And she had her chow hall shirt on, you know, like the contractor Sodexo.
Yeah.
She had her shirt on. How can I help you? And she's like, oh, is Steven here? I go, Steve, like, he's next door. She's like, oh, okay. So my next door barracks room neighbor was dating, or I don't know if he was dating this lady, but they were bringing him chow at night, food, dating the chow hall ladies. So that was not, it was a very disturbing time for us in the barracks. Good morning, guys. I just couldn't fly by and not say hello. I can't stay, but I didn't want to ignore you. Enjoy your day. Oh, okay. Awesome, man. Good to see you, buddy. Definitely stay connected. 660 Love, welcome and thank you. Like and subscribe. Absolutely. This is it's always fun to connect with fellow vets and listen to their stories. I know we've all got some crazy, silly things. Some of them probably a little bit crazier than others. I guarantee that. But always great to connect and share some war stories or sea stories or whatever you've got. Backwoods Law. I bet you Navy cop has some good stories from getting calls to the dependent housing areas. Yeah, you know, those on-base housing areas can get kind of crazy.
Yeah, especially overseas.
Yeah, there was it was a preliminary inquiry done at one point where an MP was just driving down and they found like this 1-year-old kid just like in his diapers, just kind of walking around on the sidewalk. And they're like, what the hell is going on? So the story was the mom took a nap. And it was like dusk, right? It was like already the sun was going down. The mom was like napping, and the father, who was like a young Marine, right, was just gaming. He was just a gamer. He would come home and immediately go gaming, and that came about in the investigation. And didn't notice that the door was open. The kid walked out, and just like there's no gate or anything, right? You just walk out in this grassy area and then just sidewalk. So nobody's watching the kid, and this like little kid in a diaper just walking around on the sidewalk. Insane. Yeah, but these are the kind of things that happen, man. I mean, you got to be alert. What? In 05, his wife and the need for my cuff keys. I can do what? This guy backwards law. All right, what do we got? Who's got the best story in here? Let's see. We got I know Oliver Rust has some good stories. Him and his cowboy hat. Yeah, and you see some very interesting things too when you're like on duty, because you have to go out and patrol the areas.
Yeah.
You know, you have to go out, or at least like if you're a barracks duty, you see like the random people that Marines go and check in to the barracks. And I'm like, you sure you want to do that, dog? Like, all right, well, let me check this person in as your guest, man. You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But yeah, you get some crazy stuff. I at one point got I was doing my roving thing, and I got a call from one of these guys. It was some captain, and he's like, hey dog, we got calls about this light up at the top of the hill. You know, you got to go check it out. And top of the hill was like this radar, and right under this radar was, this is in Kaneohe Bay. Right under this radar was kind of like a CO's meeting room, right? And almost like a COC almost. And you know, I'm riding up there just to turn off the lights, right? I guess the lights are on. Somebody left it on, whatever. I'm driving up there in the Govey, the government vehicle, and I get to the top and I see a bunch of people in this huge room. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Like, who are all these? It was all like women. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And they were having bingo night and bunko night or whatever the hell it is in this like COC.
Huh.
And I walk over, you know, I got my duty belt, you know, the pistol and all that stuff, my cover. And I walk in and I introduce myself. Good evening, ladies. My name is, you know, I'm the staff duty officer. Wondering, like I was told to turn off these lights, but wondering what's going on up here. They're like, oh, and then the lady walks me out. She's like, oh, I can explain. And she's like, my husband said we can use this area. I go, oh, okay. Who's your husband? She's like, oh, he's okay. It's okay. He's a major. I'm like, that doesn't mean anything to me. Like, who is your husband? And before she gave me his name, she's like, is he going to get in trouble? I go, most likely. But, you know, I'll need his name though. So very hesitant about giving me his name. And she's like, well, you know, we're good friends with the colonel. I'm like, excellent. I need his name though. You know? So after that, she was like, she went in there. She's like, hey, we got to shut this down. You know, apparently we're not supposed to use the COC for, you know, spouses bingo night or whatever the hell. And it was, you know, that would have been a perfect place because the views are beautiful up there over the bay.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you can't just because your husband's a major doesn't give you the authority. It doesn't give him the authority to give you the keys to it, right? They had the keys to the freaking place, right? And I had the other set of keys. I'm like, man, I got to lock this place up. You all got to go. So I kind of waited up there until they got all this stuff and vamoosed. But yeah, man. And sure enough, put in the logbook and I was like, hey, called the major. I'm like, hey, just FYI. He's like, damn. I'm like, hey, what do you want me to do, dude? Like, hey, it's not me. If it was just me, I wouldn't care. I'd be like, hey, just pack it up. But I got a call from like the captain, like people know about this, so I can't just brush this under any rug, right? Nor do I want to, but
Yeah.
It's crazy stuff, man.
Mm-hmm. Back in Turkey, and that place was rocking and rolling. Yeah, Turkey's nice. I haven't actually get to stop in there besides stopping in the airport, but I've heard it's really, really nice. Istanbul, at least.
I've been seeing some Turkey pop up on my YouTube as I start to explore different places that I may want to go to and travel to. Start looking at different places, and of course, then you get recommendations here and there and everywhere. So, been playing with some. I don't know if it's going to be Turkey, and just areas around that, maybe around Europe. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
The idea is with Space 8, taking it as far as it will allow me, and then have enough money to get back if I need to. If I can't lock on a Space 8 to get back, that's being financially able to buy tickets back for me and my family. So that's the idea. John, if you give me a second here, man, I'm going to refill my coffee.
Okay. Oh, gravy. Yeah. So nobody's brave enough to jump on and come tell some stories, huh? I mean, we had one, but we had some internet issues. But yeah. Lots of crazy stories in the military. I was trying to actually log into VetTix and check on these tickets. So if anybody else has access to the site, I'm actually not able to log in right now. It says something about my ID.me and something with the verification. But if you're on VetTix, or you can get access to VetTix, and you can find tickets for the World Cup coming up soon in the States, let me know. I'm curious. I don't want to sit here and spend the whole time. So use a voice changer thing. I don't know. Don't want my voice. Recording giving up things. Yeah, I mean, if it's 20 or so years ago, I don't think anybody's going to mind. And there's only a few of us here, right? I mean, it's not like we're broadcasting to the whole entire internet or anything. Yeah, but if you can find some VetTix info for the World Cup, I would love to hear that if you've got access to it. I'm just not going to spend the whole podcast trying to get logged in and get through all the verifications and email and check this and do that. Whatever it is, I'll fix the problem later. If they would mind. Yeah, maybe. I mean, you could tell the story in the chat. Well, no, I wouldn't do that either. And I can relay it for you. But yeah, lots of crazy stories. Again, most of mine were probably involved alcohol and crazy things. Some of the craziest stories of things that I've seen in the military. Actually, a lot of the coolest stuff that I've seen actually was like downrange, like in Kuwait and Iraq, in those places in the sandbox, doing a lot of driving around the countries, doing a lot of flying around the countries, catching flights. One of my favorite events was flying back or flying to through someplace in Iraq that I went to, and I had my sea bag with me, and I was on the plane, and it was a long flight because I had to catch a connection and then go somewhere else and then come back through. And eventually they touched down somewhere, and it was one of the, I guess, the final spot where we're supposed to get off the plane. And I was sitting on the plane, I had my sea bag, and everybody else's sea bag was strapped to a pallet in the middle of the plane. And so when I finally woke up and looked what was going on. The pallet was gone. Everybody was off the plane. The tail of the plane was down. I walked off the back of the plane. I looked around. I saw the pallet. It was pretty much empty. There was nothing on it. And I stopped one of the guys and I was like, hey, where's everybody? He's like, oh, were you on the plane? I was like, yeah, I've been sitting there the whole time. I fell asleep and knocked out because I was tired. He's like, oh yeah, they took all the bags back to the site, and everybody cleared out. We put them all on a bus and got them out of here. So they basically left me on the flight line in the back of this C-130, just sleeping. It didn't wake me up, and they took all the bags and moved those out as well. So it was a lot of my gear. I spent about 3 weeks hunting through HR personnel and S1 people and trying to find my bags and hunt them down and where they went and which country they ended up in, and trying to recover that stuff. I did eventually, but yeah, some of the best experiences were overseas in the sandbox. They used to
Same,
call
man.
me-
Same. They used to call me the Rain Man for what? There's two ways that this thing can go. Let me see. The Rain Man. I would get a call to some routine thing to have and end up having to get CG for the division up to deal with what was actually happening. Happened way too many times. Still curious why they called you the Rain Man. Like, are we talking Dustin Hoffman Rain Man, or are we?
That's
What kind of
that's
Rain
the
Man
Rain
we
Man that I know.
God dang, man. Yeah, there's so many good, and some of the best times I ever had too was with my deployment team, and when I was out in Iraq. Yeah, we used to get into some crazy stuff, man, and some of the stuff I can't mention it, and I won't mention it here. But I will say that I gave mention to it during my retirement ceremony, and nobody knew what the hell I was talking about. But it was so funny to see my buddies in the back from my deployment team just kind of like trying to hold in their laugh as I mentioned it. And yeah, it was, those little inside jokes. Great time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. Because it was like a rain cloud over me every time I got a simple call to handle something. Okay, gotcha. Got it. I was. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you mentioned driving around at night with tactical vehicles and getting lost, and I've had some really interesting getting lost experiences in the sandbox in Kuwait and Iraq. It's because those kind of situations, like if you go outside of the concertine wire in a deployed location like that, like in the sandbox, there's not a lot of road signs anywhere, and it's a lot of desert in a lot of places depending on where you're at, and not a lot of landmarks that you can actually use as like reference points. In some cases, I've been driving out in the desert for hours and hours on end trying to figure, and again trying to use something like a GPS there or whatever. It was hit or miss sometimes, but yeah, I've gotten the most loss I've ever gotten was also deployed in the middle of the desert in the middle of the night.
Yeah. I'll tell you, we were at at one point we were attempting to make a barbecue pit while we were deployed, like with a barrel and all that stuff, right? So we stopped by the landfill with this truck that we had, and just to put parts in the back, like maybe we can get like the CBs or something like that to weld all the stuff for us.
Yeah.
So they usually were good with all that. So while we were there, kind of scavenging through a bunch of crap at this landfill, a buddy of mine went off to the side to go look for more parts, and he found a family that was huddled inside this airplane part, like a hull, or I don't know, like a local family,
like a fuselage.
Yeah, something like that. Like he found his family, like he uncovered them, and he found his family kind of like huddled in there. And of course, we're like, yeah, we got to report this, right? So, kind of strange that I didn't see them, but he's like, dude, we got to go. Like, I found these people there. I'm like, oh shit. Well, let's get out of here then. And reports us back because I mean, we went out there. We didn't have a radio or anything like that. We're at the landfill was right there on the base, right towards the end of the base.
Yeah.
And funny enough, the landfill was named after some like Navy commander. I'm like, of all things, why would you have this landfill? Why would you name this after somebody? So it was kind of funny, but he got a little award for that because of course can't be having people like I don't even know how they got on there. Like they had to have crossed the wire at some point. What do you say? Our lieutenant or LT would check the duty chart to see when I was working, so he'd be sure not to drink or go to bed early. He knew you, man. He knew what you were about. Yeah. So I think we tried to get Brian on here to talk about his stuff, but AT&T was not being too good to his Wi-Fi there. They're throttling him like crazy. So I thought maybe we need to advertise this a little bit sooner than later, so that way we can get mass participation out here for folks who want to maybe share their story on the live stream. Even if you don't want to share your video, audio is fine. The thing is, it would probably sound better coming from your voice than just text. But happy that folks are.
And you can do this if you need to hide your voice.
There you go. What the hell is that? Is that a watch cap, dude?
Yeah, man. I have these laying all over the place. This is one of my everyday carries. That goes everywhere.
I do love those, man. I got a couple of coyote colored ones in my in my office. Or
coyote,
in my
black,
bedroom.
Green. I think that's the only colors. I might have a pink one laying. I'm just kidding.
Pink. It must be that's the new army, isn't it?
The new army, yep. Army 2026. Nah, man, I keep watch caps everywhere. Watch caps and pocket knives.
Yeah, those are must-haves, man. Must-haves. And I'm curious to know what other folks out there also have in their EDC. What is one thing you always carry with you? One thing I do, I'll tell you here. One of these. There you go. Belt, the web belt, huh?
The best belt ever.
Nylon web belts. I do like those.
I don't like the $89 ones, but I like these, the cheap ones.
Yeah. So the $89 ones are like the riggers belt. Those are the
it's the same shit. Like it's the same shit. You can't tell me that this to what that is $89 or $70 difference or whatever it is. Bullshit.
It's the company upcharging all that stuff.
Yeah,
I get it. Yeah, my EDC, man, it's this right here, man. This little wallet with all my stuff and little green book in there. I carry that stuff everywhere I go, dude. Everywhere. And always a pen, right? Pen, because it is not only a good tool to have, but also can double as a weapon of opportunity.
Yeah.
Like one mind, any weapon,
And a lighter. Always keep a lighter.
What's good to do is take duct tape and wrap it around your lighter. That way you have a 2-in-1 there, just in case you need duct tape. I don't know where I found that out from, but keep one in every car. Yeah.
Wrap duct tape around everything, actually.
Yeah, man. It's a backwards law. Always have a knife. 99% of the time, my G21 always have the rigger's belt on too. Never know when you might have to hook up a line from a chopper, right? That's right. That's right. Always ready. Always ready. I love that. Dude, how many folks in the chat have like maybe like a go bag in their car at all times, or maybe like a little EDC bag in their car at all times? Curious to hear about that. Yeah, and I know the knife, the pocket knife is always on me. And they have some weird laws here in California where the pocket knife cannot be longer than holding like the side of a credit card on the short end.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to have like a small pocket knife, but if you keep one in the car and never take it out, whatever, for emergency purposes, it's always there. But there's always one on me at all times. So I always keep a small one somewhere around.
What's a G21? I'm curious. Is that the type of knife?
I think so.
I'm looking it up. Looks like a boning knife, but I don't think that's right. Huge difference from
Oh yeah,
75
Roy Estrada.
days. First 4 years enlistment had 3 Article 15s and small infractions, but my leaders really looked after me. Sergeant Major brought me in and squared me away. Yep, same. I didn't have 3, but yeah, same.
Yeah. So a lot of having come from the military justice world myself, we would get things like a lot of administrative separations would come across my desk to review, because I would conduct a lot of those things. And a lot of them were like the commands were just fed up with folks who had like 3, not even NJPs, like 3 like page 11s or like 6105 entries. And that's enough. Three of those within one enlistment is enough to get somebody to an admin board in front of a panel of members to see if they are either retained or separated from the Marine Corps, or at least recommended to the CO, right? And up to the CG after that. So yeah, I mean, if you got 3 Article 15s, which are NJPs, right? And that really means that your command's looking after you, because those are, even if they're for small infractions. I mean, I've seen the dumbest page 11s. I mean, you can write a page 11 for anything. I've seen one for a Marine and not sweating enough during PT, meaning like he was not putting out effort. Yeah. Marine did not sweat enough. I'm like, who signed this? Like, how did this go through? Like, what? In turn, that Marine has that page 11 framed up on his wall for not sweating enough. You guys need a black jack. Okay. Please elaborate.
This was it's like a baton, right? The
Oh,
telescoping
okay.
baton. I think it is.
Don't need one anymore, man.
Nah,
I may or may not have one nearby.
Let's check. Let's go to Wikipedia and see what Wikipedia says.
Yeah, Roy Estrada. Yeah, went from 3 Article 15s to retired Marine gunner after 27 years. Awesome, dude. In today's Corps, you cannot do that. I completely agree with that. Our motto back then: work hard, play hard. Generals used to lead the way off duty.
Yep, I
love that, man. Yeah, you cannot do that in today's Marine Corps. We used to get a lot of folks. There was this string of like steroid use in the Marine Corps maybe a few years ago. I don't know if it's still there. At least it was in like California. And like these Marines would come in, they'd be jacked, right? They're on steroids. But their defense was that no, they want to be the best Marine that they could be, a model Marine. And the argument was, do model Marines use, anabolic steroids? Like, is there drug use to be a good Marine, right? So that was the argument with that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of them got retained because they were like, yeah, they just try to better themselves essentially. So it's crazy how the Marine Corps or the services shift over time. He said backwards law for any MPs or SPs, MAs out there, as long as you have an honorable discharge and served at least your first enlistment, you were able to get your LEOSA. Yeah, a lot of the stuff now, like these days in the military, if you do something like dumb in your first enlistment, that stuff follows you, man.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times you cannot re-enlist. You cannot now, like before I got out, there was like this thing called boat spaces, right? There's only so many spaces within a certain MOS. And if you don't apply to it, or if you don't re-enlist in time to get your name on that boat space, you don't get that MOS. Right. And then they start looking at like your proficiency in conduct and whether or not they want to keep you around and things like that, you know. So if you mess up, that can really affect your career. And there's a lot of like pretty good Marines that I've had that you know, messed up in like their first 2 years and then got better the next 2 years and started really doing real good things, and then they just couldn't re-enlist. So they're like, yeah, what do I do now? I'm like, well, go to the Army. Go to the national. I don't know, man. Like, you got to get a job or go to the Army or something. A lot of them did go to the Army, right? And not saying that the Army's like, you know, the secondhand type of thing, but I mean,
It's more lenient.
Let's be real. They're more lenient. They would take folks that had some of these things going on.
Yeah, and I mean in the 90s when I came up through the early 90s, mid 90s, it was also as Roy had mentioned, it was also a little bit more lenient, and of course that was the Army side of things. It's a culture of no fail, right? Everything has to be perfect, and you can't fail, or else you get the full extent of the judicial punishments for everything. And nowadays, especially, they just push it to the extreme because I don't know why. Because they don't want to mentor people. I mean, if you're taking care of your troops and you're keeping an eye on them most of the time, 90% of the time, I would say, you're going to catch that stuff before it gets to the point where they're doing really stupid stuff. There's going to be exceptions to that, of course. But.
Yeah, I never found it hard to do the leadership thing because I mean, I was blessed with a lot of folks who had their head on straight. But there was those ones and twos that like were, I don't want to call them like leadership. What do you call those? Not leadership failures. They were tough to lead because they pushed back so much and they just couldn't get right. It's like, I don't know how many times I have to tell you or lead you to this, right? And at some point, like you don't want to stop mentoring and leading, right? But at some point, it's like, man, is this guy ever going to get right, or is it just in his gene pool? I don't know. I like to do these like silly things, or like the finances, or you know, just as Roy Strada here mentioned, like women skewed my judgment is what he said. I'm like, well, you know, there's a lot of Marines that I worked with who had that as well. It's like, man, you got to sit down for those knee-to-knee conversations, with kneecap-to-kneecap conversations, right, counselors, and let them know, hey, dog, you know, like, let me tell you the right and wrong of life, you know, and how this could affect your life here 10 years down the road, though you may not see it now. Let me explain. It's like kids that can't get right, you know, like your own kids. So tough to do, man, but they're out there. They're the ones that will test you. Absolutely. Leadership challenges. There you go. Leadership challenges, not failures. Leadership challenges. They're the ones that will test you, test your mettle, and see how good of a leader and how much patience you have. And they're tough to lead, those folks. Let me see. I got another good story here for you. Okay. I was looking through a cabinet at one point, and while I was probably an E3, and this freaking corporal that I had rolled a tennis ball. I stepped on the tennis ball. My finger pushed up against the cabinet, broke this finger.
Mhm.
And at that exact same time, a first sergeant and a sergeant major walked in asking about an investigation. And I'm sitting there sweating, trying to keep it together because I was the one working on that investigation and nobody else knew, because I just kind of like, I didn't realize, and like the adrenaline was kind of pumping a little bit. And I was looking at my finger, it was like all sideways and shit. And I'm like, oh my God. And they were coming in and asking me questions. And then the first sergeant's like, dog, what is going on? Are you okay? And I'm like, I just broke my finger, first sergeant. And they're like, what the hell? I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like I fell forward on this cabinet, it snapped this finger, and then you guys come in and ask me questions, and I'm trying to figure things out while you guys are asking me questions. So if you just give me a minute, let me go to medical real quick, and I'll come and answer your questions. Oh man. So yeah, the things we got to deal with. Roy Strada says, as an NCO, we slept in the back of open squad base separated by wall lockers. Yeah. We slept with E-tools because young Marines would come back drunk and want to fight NCOs. E-tool was the equalizer. Oh no. Like Gunnery Sergeant Highway, you got Swede that comes in. Swede wanted to fight you. Man. But yeah, man, we gotta, I mean, we could talk about this stuff all day. Everybody's got great stories, and folks have shared a lot of great information on here. We'll have to get some more folks on the live stream next time to share this stuff. I think it was like last week where I was speaking to this gentleman, Big Red, and he just had some freaking off the wall crazy stories. And, you know, I'll have to connect with this guy again. Can't recall. I think he was a Marine Master Sergeant, Marine Gunny. I'm not sure what he was, but some crazy off the wall stories. I told him, hey, pump the brakes, man. Let's wait until one of these days where we dedicate an entire show to this. So looking forward to connecting with these folks again, and everybody in the chat, man. It was great to hear a lot of your stories, a lot of what you guys got going on. And it's fun to think back on this stuff, right? Of our earlier days when we were younger in uniform, and you know, this is part of our life story. You know, though we've moved on from that in life, you know, it's part of what makes us us. So truly appreciate everybody sharing their information. John, thank you for sharing yours and your hog stories and all that good stuff. I'll never look at hogs the same way again. So, smashing into wheels and whatever. So no, good stuff, man. I truly appreciate everybody hanging out and you know, just talking a little bit of mess today. It was kind of a chill day today. Like no real guests or anything like that. Just
no stress.
Let's see where this goes. Yeah, no stress, no guests, and see where this goes. So we will have some guests coming up that I've seen in on the calendar and all that stuff. So if anybody out there in the chat has any suggestions for guests that they may want to see on the show, let us know. Put it in the comments, you know, send us an email, and we'll see about getting a hold of these folks. I've already got a good few number of folks that I'm getting a hold of here that folks have mentioned to me. So I'm still waiting on answers back from some of these folks, but looking forward to connecting with a lot of people out there.
Yep. If you need, there's the email address right there below, info@militaryretirementpodcast.com. We will write you back, email you back directly, just two of us. That's who does all the writing. That's who does all the answering of the chats. That's who does all the answering of all the messages, answer all the questions in the Facebook groups. We're the guys doing it. So yeah, just send us an email and then we will chat and see what works out. And if it's good, then we'll send you the link and get you scheduled. We do have, should have Jeffrey Migdal coming up next week And then the following week, we'll have Allison Burton coming on, female perspective, finally, again. And I also have another interview that should be posting within the next week or so, another female veteran. So I like to get a little bit of a mix in here and not just, male masculine driven. We like to hear the female side of the story as well. So those two coming up over the next 2 weeks, and then another episode dropping soon. Just got to finalize it, get it up, and get it uploaded, and get it posted. And we'll have that up as well.
Excellent. Sounds good. And, thank you all for joining us today on the Military Retirement Podcast. Catch us next Sunday on, again, Military Retirement Podcast. Catch us on Facebook on the Military Retirement Group. Catch me this week on the Green Logbook. Be dropping some more information on there. I'm doing this thing, John, where I'm uploading a short every day. I've uploaded a short every day with just a question of the day, because I have all these things written down. I'm like, why am I the only one pondering about this? Let's see what other people think about this stuff. So just uploading a short question of the day, getting some good feedback on it. So looking forward to dropping a little bit more of that. So thanks all for hanging out with us and sharing your stories here on the Military Retirement Podcast. Until next week, we'll see you then out here.
See you later out here.